Hi, it's Trella here, and I want to just connect with you guys about um, really helping you to boost your immune system. The coronavirus, it is like any pathogen, going to impact your immune system. That's the body's defense system. And things that you can easily be doing to help strengthen and give you more resilience, all the better. I'm going to give you 9 quick tips on what you can be doing, what's some of the science behind it, as well as what's kind of going on the energy metaphysical side if you're interested in that as well. So, tip number 1, cold showers. Doesn't mean the whole shower needs to be cold, 90 seconds. If any of you are fans of Tony Robbins, he always talks about every morning he does a cold dip. There's a reason why 90-second exposure to a cold shower actually works. They understand it from, results in studies. For example, when this has been studied, it showed a 29% reduction in sickness. The body's white blood cell count went up. Weight loss increases. Muscle recovery increases. Memory increases. Depression goes down. Stress goes down. Skin and hair quality or consistency actually improves. So there's a lot of different benefits from this. You can take your regular shower, then at the very last, blam, blast yourself for about a minute and a half with cold water. And from the energy side, when I was looking at this, it was really, it felt like that breath of intensity of coming into awareness, like when you're born. Like literally, when a baby is born, it's going from this warm, super protected bath of salt water of the mother, and then boom, that shock of cold, that breath of life. And so when I looked at the energy of it, it's really about bracing yourself and saying, okay, I'm enough. I can handle this. I can be alive. I can do this. So that's kind of another side of things. All right, tip number 2. We all know this, but try to find ways to reduce your stress. And there's a lot of different things that create stress. Like, for example, learning a new language could create stress. What I'm talking about reducing is reducing distress, like negative stress. So when you have long-term negative stress or distress, what that does is it rises cortisol levels continually, keeps the body at flight, fight, or fright response, as I like to call it. And you are keeping this state of constant inflammation, which is not good. It negatively impacts the heart, the brain, the body overall, and it also lessens the ability. Cortisol can work effectively for you. Now, what is cortisol? It's produced by the adrenal glands. It's the body's main alarm system. It helps to do lots of things, like if you are injured or if you are in a toxic situation or you have a pathogen, it does lots of benefits for you. But if you have sustained cortisol release, the ability for cortisol to actually do its job gets pummeled, and so does your body. So what do you want to do with reducing distress? Well, I think we all have a lot of tips on that. And I think really it's about owning your boundaries, keeping promises to yourself, and doing the right thing by yourself for your body. It's nothing shocking here as to what's going on a subconscious or metaphysical level. It's about being good and true, and if you had the best boss or the best person in charge, you'd want it to be in charge of how they treated you as an employee. That's how you want to treat your body. And cortisol is that warning to let you know. Okay, tip number 3, vitamin D and vitamin B12. So the white blood cells. Now, in your immune system, you have different types of, you have T cells, there's different components to your immune system. It's not all just white blood cells, but white blood cells do have vitamin D receptors on them. They need vitamin D. I mean, you actually need vitamin D for a lot of different systems to function properly in your body. Vitamin D can be naturally created with exposure to sunlight. Unfortunately, most of us tend to be not outside. We tend to be fully clothed, etc. So vitamin D adds, okay, for example, here's some scientific information. A study when you added vitamin D to some people's diets, their infection rate dropped by 42%. And a lot of other benefits that were showing up by taking vitamin D. I'm not going to go into all of that. And unfortunately, nearly 40% of Americans tend to be vitamin D deficient. You can get, a blood test that can check your vitamin D levels and all kinds of other levels, but just realize that a good chunk of us are already deficient, and because of our behaviors and lifestyle, we just don't get enough sunlight daily. Start taking a supplement. The value of vitamin D on kind of an emotional or metaphysical level, whatever you want to think of it as, it's joy. It's literally joy. It's life. What is the sun? It's warmth and life, and there are many different kinds of love, obviously, but sunlight is this really energizing and very protective form of love. There's heat, there's such a huge spectrum of different forms of light. There's a lot that makes up sunlight. So just realize that this is part of what is built into who we are as a species. We need vitamin D. We need sunlight. Okay, vitamin B12. I'm not going to go into all the things behind vitamin B12, but it is going to aid energy. And literally, if you are already struggling with your energy, vitamin D is going to help maintain and help give you a boost. It is a water-soluble vitamin. It doesn't store in your body. That means you need to constantly be getting a fresh supply. And if you're eating like a lot of us are, processed foods and crap, you're not probably getting enough. So this is something that you can easily do, is take vitamin B or take vitamin B range of supplements. And literally, when I look at the energy of vitamin D, why people don't have enough of it, why aren't they eating the things they need to take it, it's kind of like indicating self-harm behaviors, whether it's alcohol or smoking or addictions, whatever. These are all just tools to create weakness. So some forms of addiction are just there to create personal weakness, which can be caused for, why would we want ourselves to be weak? Well, there's a lot of different emotions behind that. But give yourself, a really easy fix by just taking some vitamin B12. All right, next tip. High quality sleep. Again, no brainer, but we as adults need anywhere from 6 to 10 hours of high quality sleep. So that means you want to create a sleep ritual before you, at least an hour before you go to bed. Turn off your screens, dim lights, get a book, go through your personal hygiene so that you can transition more easily. Now, the body systems, if you look at it from the Chinese 5 elements theory, and you look at it from, anyway, I'm not going to go into a bunch of ancient healing modalities, but body systems, like, for example, the gallbladder, wake up at certain times throughout the night because they're based on a circadian rhythm. They're based on, at night you're asleep and at day you are awake with the sun. We don't follow those patterns, so we disrupt those patterns. So for certain systems in the body, they're going to be, kicking at certain times, and you need to be asleep to be able to provide those body systems with what they've been kind of evolutionary used to, you know, functioning. Okay, it's nighttime, I should be asleep, and I'm going to do this and this and this. Like my gallbladder is going to release, and then my liver can dump, and then, you know, and once the liver's cleared out, it can help, you know, take care of the rest of the body, etc. All right. So there's a lot of reasons why we would deny ourselves enough sleep, but one of them is keeps literally us from being able to kind of release in our brain cells. Now, there's a whole bunch of information about what happens when you sleep. You know, like the rest of the body, you have veins and arteries. With the brain, you don't have that. You just have one pathway. Think of like blood flow, like a cul-de-sac, not a two-lane highway. When you sleep is when the brain is actually cleaning house. So if you're not getting enough sleep, you're getting disrupted sleep, then you can't do a good cleaning out at night. And that is going to make you foggy and groggy and all kinds of other problems. And literally not being able to sleep well is just a lot of, I mean, it's indicative of a lot of things subconsciously and emotionally, but, you know, when you can't really be yourself, you know what I mean? You can't show up. You can't be your strong you. So, okay, next tip, number 5, moderate daily exercise. So we all know we need to exercise, but I'm talking about even once you're not feeling well. So there was a study where they took lab rats and they had some of them doing just resting. They let the rats, they had injected them with a flu virus. They had let part of them sleep. They let part of them do moderate exercise, stuck them on a treadmill, and then they had another group do heavy exercise. The group that just rested, there was a 50% death rate. The group that did moderate exercise, there was a 12% death rate. And the group that did heavy exercise, there was a 70% death rate. So what we're looking at here is even when you're not feeling well, still continue to try to move. So when I was in Japan, you know, when you're in the hospitals, doesn't matter even if you had surgery, as soon as they can get you up and walking around even the hospital floor, they do. They're really big on getting you to move, move, move. Okay, so moderate daily exercise. Just do some walking. Okay, tip number 6, air quality. Now, obviously, what the hell can you do about that, right? It's too big of an issue. Well, no, there's things that you can do that are simple and actionable. Like, for example, get an air purifier in your home. There are plants like, for example, the lily or ivy plant that are air cleaners. NASA has checked and tested this out. There's a lot of information on this. Please just stick some plants in your house if you can't afford an air purifier. And if you can't afford an air purifier, even better, it's going to help your respiratory system, because air quality is going to affect how you deal with these immuno diseases that are respiratory related. Now let's talk about some of the energy behind clean air. Sorry guys, this is terrifying for me to talk about my truth. There we go. Anyway, so when air is dirty or poisonous, it shows a lack of joy. And obviously, you know, being around dirty air would not make you happy. So I know that doesn't sound like prophetic, but it does show a deep sense of depression and sadness when we're around dirty air all the time. So I just want you to realize there's simple things you can do. Get yourself an English ivy, you know, get yourself a peace lily. Those are simple plants to buy and just make at least the air in your own home a little cleaner. Okay, next, 7th tip, or the 7th tip, be well nourished. This is super obvious, guys. We know this stuff, but I'm just saying it's going to help you with your immune system. Better eating is plant-based. Forget a moment about, animal products and the health benefits around weight loss or morality issues or whatever. Just, I'm not even going to go into that. When you eat animal products, it actually makes the blood cloudy and it reduces your testosterone level. Simple. You need to be clear and you need to be as strong as possible. Eat more plants. Just that simple. Okay, next, tip number 8. Oh, you know what? I didn't talk about some of the energy behind eating animals. Animals are really great middlemen. Like, for example, you want to feel abundant, you eat a cow. You want to, kind of calm your fears in your mind and your brain. You eat eat good fatty fish. So animals are middlemen. They're doing the work for us by eating the algae or eating alfalfa if you're a cow, which we can't do that anymore. We need to go straight to plants. We need to receive the benefits of plants. And plants are the best receivers on the planet. That's all they do. They just, here, I receive and I share. And they have, I think, in that respect, certainly a lot to teach me and maybe a lot to teach all of us. All right, getting back to tips. Tip number 8, hydration. Okay, this one is super simple. We all know that, but drinking Red Bulls, drinking Frappuccinos, and drinking sodas and whatever else, those are negative hydrators. They're going to really reduce your hydration. You do not want that. You want to be drinking not just water, which is great, but if you put a little lemon or lime in your water, or you drink some good teas, those are boosting hydrators. Your body will actually absorb the water better because it's digested. There's research on this now. I've been saying this for years, but there's the information there to support it. It's going to be a better hydration. And when you use functional teas, like I have some beautiful functional teas that I have for clients and whatnot, you're imparting all those wonderful benefits with the herbs and the flavors, and it's an experience, and it tastes good, and you feel special, and you didn't spend $5 at the coffee shop. So save your money and get something infinitely better for yourself and your body. Okay, number 9 tip to boost your immunity. Start behaving like we're in an infectious environment. Make some better choices around what kind of social activities are you going to do. Do you really need to go to the movie theater? Is it absolutely critical that you go to an amusement park? Can you cut out airline travel? I mean, as soon as you step into an airport, it doesn't matter that you're not going to China. As soon as you step into an airport, you are in that soup of global humanity. We are a shared and global species like never before, which is a beautiful thing, but it does come with its caveats. So just start behaving in ways where you're saying, hey, do we really need to go to the store and just fun shop, where you're going to be touching everything? Remember, this virus has a shelf life, so to speak, on surfaces of 9 days. So there could be nobody else around, and boom, you've picked it up because of touch. So just start remembering that. Okay, bonus tip. If you happen to have a uterus that is working monthly, then you might want to consider switching to or adding the pill, but not the pill as we traditionally have been using it. I'm talking about some of these new birth control pills that alleviate you needing to have a period every month. The reason why, and I just saw a beautiful TED Talk on this, the reason why we have a period once a month with conventional pills is because that was more acceptable to certain faiths and certain other groups when this was being when the birth control pill was first created. So it's really got nothing to do about the fact that a woman's body needs to have a period every month. What's fascinating is there is a lot of information out there, or new information out there about having reduced periods means reduced cervical cancer, reduced ovarian cancer, et cetera, et cetera. We were just not made to have as many periods as we do. So, there might be another way. And what having that stability of not having to have a period, you're really retaining your energy on so many different levels, and you're also evening out your hormones and all kinds of other stuff. So anyway, it's really up to us to take good care of ourselves, and not just for ourselves, but our community. And the CDC has been very clear about the fact is now is the time to brace ourselves, quote unquote, and prepare for what is coming. And if you live in the Bay Area, just the beginning of it has started. So be smart. We've got to take action. For a couple months now, they've been saying, hey, you don't need face masks. And then finally yesterday, they said, stop buying face masks. We need them. That's why they've been saying, don't, buy face masks. So I've got a whole other video on 21 easy, actionable tips that you can take that it's going to help reduce exposure to not just coronavirus, but any pathogen. And that's on my pages, my Facebook page as well. God bless you all, really. And honestly, we're going to get through this. We're wonderful and smart, but it is going to take a lot more personal responsibility, and we can do it. So anyway, love you very much.